because he needs to interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand it. So I told him,
create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old.
Is this person retarded?
Now, normally when I talk about certain stuff here on the channel, sometimes it's a little silly, sometimes we have a conversation. It's one of those times where stuff on the internet is getting way too real, and the insane, unhinged, terminally online losers, they all gotta be kidnapped from their homes one by one, and then throw them in the gas chamber 1940 style, because these people need to be stopped. Now, for a little context, over the last few months, Ethan and Hila from the H3 podcast have been constantly harassed by Twitter users, insane Twitch streamers such as Hasan, Denims, and some random weird looking guy who goes by Bad Empanada. And not only that, but there's also a subreddit dedicated to just hating on Ethan and his family. If you have a problem with Ethan and Hila, that's fine. Leave it at that. Don't bring their children into this. And the reason why I'm saying this is because yesterday they made a podcast. They went live and they talked about child protective services being called on them. CPS is what you call when you think a child is being abused, child abuse, and neglect. Ethan nor Hila abused their kids in any way, shape, or form. This is an insane stalker, and there's a few theories. Some people are saying that it's Denims. We have some interesting details regarding her, and on top of everything, you're just wasting the resource that is CPS by having people check on him and call and investigate him and all of that, when all of this could actually go towards a child legitimately being abused. I think it's hilarious to call CPS on Ethan and Hila. Why? Because we don't like them. I don't like their political views. I don't like their content, so I don't know, let's just call CPS, guys. You know, when I don't like a content creator, that's what I do. I don't criticize them, I don't call them out, I don't ignore. I want your kids to be taken away from you, and I want to traumatize your kids. You people are insane and need to go to Home Depot, grab 2 things, grab a ladder, grab a rope.
This morning, listen, in our long career of being influencers in the public sphere, we've been swatted several times.
Yep.
People say, hey, I killed my wife and kids and I'm in the closet and I'm gonna kill myself.
and I put bombs around the house.
Yeah, it's usually something like that, and then the helicopters come, fire trucks come, police come. I remember it happened where they went around the perimeter of our house and Shredder got out. It was so scary. That part was so scary. We weren't there at the time. We've also had the FBI come to our house, actually, at this point, several times. One of them being to tell us not to open any packages until
further notice.
Until further notice.
And I could never in a million years understand how you could hate someone online so much, to the point where you go out of your way, you're wasting your precious time here on earth doxing a YouTuber. Think about that for a second. You're doxing a YouTuber because he said something you don't like. I absolutely hate when internet stuff comes out into the real world. It is not that serious. If I have a problem with someone online, we'll talk about it online. You can make your video on me, I'll make my video on you. We could go back and forth, but I will never bring that into the real world.
This morning we got a visit from Child Protective Services because I told this story on the show a few weeks ago about how when we adopted Olive, she had Giardia, and then the next day Sonny started having diarrhea, so we suspected he might have Giardia, seeing as that he's an infant, he's crawling around, he's putting everything in his mouth, etc. Makes sense, right? It's obvious. So it turned into this whole snark narrative that our house is a mess, that there's dog shit everywhere, that Sonny is eating shit and getting Giardia, and that, you know, etc., etc. And well, it culminated in somebody finally, an anonymous call went into them on the 3rd, saying that they were somebody that works at the house, and they wanted to report us because our kids are crawling around eating dog shit and getting viruses. And they were able to provide enough details because of what I said on the show to make it appear that it was somebody. He said, like, when he first showed up, he's like, it's somebody that you know who made the report. Good, go ahead.
What's truly like despicable to me is the fact that like you hear so often that CPS like that they're not always.
They're underfunded.
Yes, and also it always like seeps through the cracks for some reason.
Yeah.
And so the fact that they were so on it here, it's like that could have gone to a family that really needed it and a child that really needed to be saved. Like
I was pretty surprised. I mean, one anonymous call. I was like, that's all it takes. But I guess the thing is, he was like, it seemed, we thought it was someone who.
I can't
who
imagine
you know.
how scary.
The guy was very nice. He was a very professional, a nice young guy, very nice. And we talked for a while. He gets it, but there's certain things that I guess he has to do. So he looked all. I mean, you walked around with him. I was upset about the whole thing.
It's like the girl said, CPS is extremely, and I mean extremely underfunded. It's one of those programs that you would think the government would want to focus on, but no, they want to focus on retarded ass shit. This could have gone to an actual kid that needs the help, that's being abused every single day or every once in a while. This could have gone to someone that actually needed it. And it's like, I don't have kids, but I was a kid once. You want to touch everything, you want to put everything in your mouth. This is how you spend your Friday evening, calling CPS, making a false report. Now you might be thinking, well, since why is Denims, the queen of Twitch, the thumbnail? Well, actually, I don't know if that's going to be the thumbnail, so I don't know how this is going to age, but a lot of people think she's the one that made the report, or she told someone to make the report. That's the theory. I don't want to slander anyone. I'm gonna put it out there. It's not 1,000% confirmed. I might not like Denims, but I don't want to slander her. I just like putting her in my thumbnails. Bad takes and Denims go together like peanut butter and jelly.
So he agreed to come visit our
Come
house
back next week.
when the kids are at home because he needs to fucking interview our kids as a matter of procedure.
But I was like, I really don't want you to create any bad memory here for them. Like, they are 5 and 3. They don't understand this shit. So I told him,
Create any bad memory for them. You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not.
I only have one question here. Is this bitch retarded? Genuinely. What do you mean? I mean, I do believe Denims didn't start, becoming aware until she was in her 20s, but not everyone's like that. As for me, yes, I do remember memories when I was 3 years old, and they started getting really strong at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, of course. I mean, I have memories of playing with Dragon Ball Z action figures when I was like 3 years old, going to the beach and playing with Goku and, all the gang. 3.5. I remember that. And of course, I remember when I was 5. I'm sure all of you guys have memories when you were 5 years old, right? I'm not the only one. I don't think I'm a fucking superhero or superhuman. And if I was 3.5 years old and CPS got called on my parents, I would definitely remember that. And that's scary because they're like, oh, does your daddy hit you? Does your mom abuse you? Do they touch you inappropriately here? It's like, this can legitimately scar a kid for life. And it's like, once again, if you have a problem with Ethan for whatever reason, take it up with him. But why are we bringing the children into this?
You're not forming memories at 3 years old, and it's very rare that you're forming memories at 5 years old. Nah, yes, you are. No, you're not. When we're talking about being able to remember, being able to recall memories, it's like 4 is the cutoff. But even if you are forming any memories at 4, you're not going to be able to remember them past like 15.
What? Is she a doctor? Is she a psychologist? How does she know this? According to who? Just because you're a dumb retard doesn't mean everyone is. Once again, I remember doing stuff when I was 3 years old. I don't know, maybe I'm just some kind of superhuman. I was a super baby.
Yes, you will remember. So everyone in chat here has a collection, like 50 plus memories of when they were 3 years old. I only have a few memories from when I was 2, 3, and 4.
What his fingers smell like.
Talking to a random stranger once isn't really memorable for a kid. No, I don't want AI overview. There's a wide variation across about the mean across methods cohorts. The average age of adults' earliest memories is 3.5 years old. You're not really forming memories at 3.
Nah, she needs to go. Legit question, Denims. Are you brain dead? Are you a little slow? I know you just started forming memories at the young age of 24 years old, but not all of us are, like you. Like, you're reading something that says 3.5. There's people in your chat telling you that they remember stuff when they were 2 years old. Another super baby there. You're just stupid. I mean, thanks for admitting it. See, this is why I don't take any of these clowns seriously. They're clueless. And now, if you want, we could start putting our conspiracy theories hats on, because I found this tweet and it says, Denims denies having any role in CPS being called on Ethan and Hila's house. She says, I think it's very bizarre to try and blame me.
I will do everything that I can to hold any of these people to justice in any possible way that I can. And that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to be happening. And if you guys have any other clips of Denims saying that our kids, anything about our kids and the dog thing, I would love if you guys can compile that for me.
Okay.
Just in general, if there's anyone in the audience, because I don't want to miss anything. So if you know of any, or if you want to help us look, you can send it to us, on Discord, Dan?
Or throw it up on the Reddit.
I mean, if you throw it up on the Reddit or something.
Reddit, okay.
It's probably
Yeah, let us know, because I'd love to sue her for defamation, amongst other things.
I mean, yeah, I don't think anyone would care if Ethan sues Denims. As a matter of fact, if Ethan opens a GoFundMe, I'll donate. It might not be a lot because I'm a small baby YouTuber, but I'll throw some money there. Someone needs to teach her a lesson, and Ethan got the money, and I'm sure the community will back it. I will throw in a pretty decent amount of money, and by decent, I mean probably like $20, but hey, it's something. Now, going back to the theory that Denims is the one that pretty much started all of this conversation regarding calling CPS. A few hours ago, this came out. The H3 subreddit found a March 1st unlisted VOD from Denims. In that VOD, numerous chatters were suggesting to call CPS on Ethan and Hila. Earlier today, Denims had denied her and her chat ever mentioning CPS.
Denims host this and see what she says. And then now we wonder why people are calling Child Protective Services.
But they called it before I even did this stream.
He lets his dogs shit all over his mansion, and he just leaves the shit on the floor, something that is probably related to the fact that his former housekeeper is suing him for a number of different reasons. So I would assume he doesn't actually have a housekeeper anymore, or perhaps he lost his extra housekeeper. So now the house is just like covered in dog shit. And he has kids, and his kids like crawl into the dog shit, and God forbid, I don't know what they do with it. I don't know if they eat it or if it's just from like contact with it with their hands or something. But they contracted a parasite that I had previously never heard of in my life called Giardia from the dog shit that is all over his house.
Dude, how is it that like maybe once a week I look into what Ethan Klein's been up to? And every time I manage to find more and more terrible shit. This is where Ethan tells a story about his family getting Giardia.
We already have Mold Mondays. Now we...
Yeah, the whole chat is saying call CPS over a rumor, over something that isn't even real, by the way. This is getting out of control. This is disgusting. And if it is true that Denims, her fans, or any of these insane Twitch streamers are behind this, they should all be banned. Why would she lie about her chat never talking about CPS when it's very clearly here? Like, if you're willing to lie about that, what else are you willing to lie about? And on top of that, why did you delete the VOD? I don't know. I'm not saying she did it 1000%, but I think it's interesting that she's lying about the smallest things, such as, oh, the chat and I never talked about calling CPS or CPS ever being mentioned.
I mean, much like many other illnesses, it's very, very, very dangerous when infants get the same sicknesses that adults get. There are lots of things that you can get as an adult. You're totally fine. You'll be A-okay. No problem. A child, a small infant that has no immune system, shouldn't be catching anything.
No wonder his house is covered in dog shit. And his neglected children raised by nannies have contracted parasites previously unknown to science from the feces. I wonder why he skipped over all of this, because everything that I said in this story, which by the way was apparently compiled by his crew.
Please do not take any of these insane clowns seriously. And I know that I sound like the biggest Ethan Klein defender out here. I really have no horse in this race. Leave the kids out of this. They have nothing to do with this, okay? There's another tweet that says, proof that the March 1st VOD was unlisted. And he shows this. All the other ones are up, except that one. I wonder why. I found this tweet and it says, Ethan should 100% sue her into oblivion. You don't mess with people's children. You know what, Ethan? I said I was going to send $20. I'm going to double that. Open a GoFundMe and sue her. I will participate in this. I don't know how. My contribution might be small, but yeah, this bitch has to go. Pediatric nurse of almost a decade shares her thoughts on the CPS report. Now, who do I believe more? A actually qualified nurse or a loser Twitch streamer like Denims and a freak like Bad Empanada? Like, who do I trust more?
When I found out that people who just don't like Ethan Klein called Child Protective Services to report him, I found that we've reached a new level of disgusting internet behavior. And I would like to particularly comment on this post that Ethan posted on his IG story. You can pause to read it if you want. They're saying that they're a mandated reporter, and maybe they are. I can tell they're not an actual healthcare provider. Or maybe they're a teacher. I don't know what they are, but I'm an actual pediatric nurse of almost 10 years. Every single pediatric healthcare personnel can understand the difference between abuse, which is what they're talking about. CPS is abuse. And understanding that kids who crawl around pick up a lot of shit. Kids who crawl on their hands and feet, and there's dogs in the house, get sick sometimes. When I tell you these kids come into the emergency room with bacteria you've never even heard of. And guess what we all understand? Children walk on the ground, put their hands on the ground, put their hands on toilet seats, put their hands on side rails, and then stick it in their mouth because they're 2 years old. Never would me or any of my friends hear this story about Ethan and think that that was abuse and report this as a mandated reporter. Do you understand kids come into the hospital because their parents said they reported them eating a bar of Dove deodorant? And you still don't report that shit because you understand that 2-year-olds get into shit, lick the floor, lick the walls. I walked into a room once and a child was face down on the ground sucking the floor with their mouth all the way open. They were face down sucking the floor because they're 2 years old and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Child Protective Services is historically overworked, underfunded, spread too thin, overwhelmed, and what you want to do is take a story that he told himself, mind you, spoke about how they're all being seen by doctors, right? And report them to a service that already has their plate too full. For you to take resources from kids when there's already so little resources available, you totally lost the plot. You need to seek help. You have to seek help, I'm begging you. You lost the plot.
Yeah, I don't know, nurse. I don't know. I trust Denims a lot more. Sorry. I think we need to stop spreading this narrative that Ethan is a deadbeat dad that's never around because he's making videos. Okay? That's a situation. That's all we have so far. I cannot imagine being a parent and going through this. I don't know. If I was Ethan, I would have a gun or two ready in case a hater show up. But yeah, I don't know. With that said, what do you guys think of the situation? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Let's hit 1 billion subscribers. And I hope it doesn't escalate from here. But yeah, I'm out. Bye.